I just want to talk a little bit about your thoughts on the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing, Paul. Just so you kind of
fake relationship.
Yeah. Okay.
Fake ship.
Okay. Go on.
Do you give it another year? Do you think it survives that long?
Well, if it was a relationship, then no, I wouldn't. But I don't think it's a relationship, right?
What do you think they're doing?
An arrangement.
By who?
So
Is this going back to the lizard people setting this up?
Hey, you guys know I like a good conspiracy.
I love this.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up on your James Cook thing.
Jeez, leave James out of this.
He's already dead.
I'm just saying, what if they were on their way back and someone in the crew just didn't like him, and so they killed him, threw him overboard, and then like everybody came up with this story that the Hawaiians killed him.
Well, the Hawaiians attest to it, like it happened. Anyways, go back to your...
You don't know. You're 300 years later, you're telling me that they did admit to it? You know how easy it is after people are gone to just say, no, that's
there's
what
a
they
conspiracy
admitted to.
about everything. Did you actually get up
Anyway.
at 5:30 today?
Here's the... Like, for sure, the NFL profited on, like, crazy amounts of money by that relationship existing, right? But I just don't know, like, that they're big enough to even convince Taylor Swift to do it. That's my problem with just saying the NFL rigged this thing so that these two would get together and they'd get all these new viewers. I just don't think the NFL has enough sway to Taylor Swift to say, hey, we need you to come on board and date this football player, because the NFL will benefit under that story, right? But what does Taylor Swift get out of it?
No, it would have started with the NFL telling Travis Kelce to be corny and being like, hey, you should say something about like, hey, I saw you rock out this. Come see me rock this. Like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
So dumb.
He was slipping into her
So you're
DMs
telling the
with way
NFL
more
that's,
smooth
hey,
lines.
Travis, we got a great pickup line that will make this look organic.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can't get on board with people who say the NFL put this together like that.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift gets nothing out of that. So you have to say, where would Taylor Swift benefit? And she's kind of a political activist, right? Like, she doesn't like the Mr. Trump. She doesn't like
I mean, I think
I'm
she
going to
doesn't.
send you some videos about her crying to her dad because her dad's telling her, don't talk about these things. You're a freaking artist. Don't go in the political world. Stay
Who
in
was
your
filming?
freaking
The
lane.
mom was like, hey, this is a great chance for me to film
She's
you
sobbing.
to
Daddy,
a daddy-daughter moment.
I have to. It's like, her dad's like telling her, like, don't do this. You'll alienate people, right? So the only world I can like wrap my head around is like somewhere the government came to her and the NFL and said, hey, we want to do this thing. Because then because Taylor Swift got way more popular too, right? And most NFL fans, right? Most probably vote which way?
I mean, I think you're saying most NFL fans are going to be Republicans.
Yeah, going to be conservative or, you know. And so they're like, hey, we got to coerce them a little bit. So if we can get them to like you a little bit, then they'll listen to your message a little bit. Right. We'll bring them a little. I'm not saying you're going to swing them from Republican to Democrat, but you're going to bring them a little more towards the middle.
Yeah.
Right. And so to me, that seems like a more logical thing because there's no world of me that believes she actually wanted to just date this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a tough time with this.
She's dating Kennedy's
this whole conversation
and
stuff.
John Mayer's.
I
and
get
stuff.
it. I just think here's what I have to look at this, right? I think these things go a long way to hurt, really like to hurt like the seriousness that you can take a political party if like this is being swept away with it. Because
What did you just say? What?
I think when you're like, when this is your top of mind, like this is your argument, like this is what's wrong with the country is like, I mean, because this consumed, like, at least for me, social media was consumed by these conspiracies for like weeks, right? Leading up to the Super Bowl and even after the Super Bowl, right? Instead of things that really matter, which is like a ton of things, right?
Kyle Shanahan.
We're stretching because, and like even you are saying, like,
I thought he was saying things that really matter.
it would
like
be
political
such a
things.
stretch
It's
to
like, no,
say that
football things.
Don't get me wrong. I think the CIA like rigs governments and does all sorts of stuff, right?
Thank you.
But I think this is such a stretch for them to where I'm like, and then what do we like? Even if like you can prove it, like what are you getting out of it?
I don't know, like I understand that, but you saw the Fruit of a Loom thing, right?
No, I didn't see it.
You didn't see that? So there's this thing.
I mean, I feel like I've heard of this.
Joe Rogan even talked about this. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's called like whitewashing or something like that. Like the government set out to say, could we convince people that stuff they thought existed doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah.
So one of the first ones that happened to me is I see this video that's like, you think that Ed McMahon went around with Publishers Clearinghouse with these big checks and knocked on people's doors and said, hey, you want Like, yeah, I saw that all growing up. That was like the commercial the whole time. But then you start Googling it, it's just gone. And so you start like, am I crazy? Then they went on to the Richard Simmons, and he used to wear these wristbands and his headbands, but now they've like tried to take that out. So they do the Fruit of the Loom one, and Fruit of the Loom guys, the grapes and the cantaloupe and the watermelon or whatever's in there.
Logo.
Yeah.
The logo used to come out of a cornucopia. And people started saying like, no, it was in a cornucopia. And they were like, no, it didn't, right? Because they scrubbed the internet of any evidence of it. So if you go to Google it and show people, like, there's none. And so you're like, oh my, what
You
the
have
heck?
to find your old underwear.
luckily I
So
have
that's
mine.
what happens is this lady's freaking losing her mind. And so she, like, I don't know if she found them or bought them off eBay or found them in an antique store or whatever, but she finds it. And like, but before I even go that far, like, she finds it. You go to Fruit of the Loom's website, and they specifically took time out of their lives to make a statement on their thing. Like, hey, we know there's a lot of stuff going around about whether we did or didn't have a fruit coming out of a cornucopia. We definitely did not. Please stop spreading these these conspiracies, because they're in on it with the CIA, right? And so they post that. Fruit of the Loom says, no, that never happened. We never had a cornucopia thing. But then the lady finds them, and other people now since, right, are like, no, these people are so full of crap. It's right here.
Is there like a new
Same
CEO
thing-
that just doesn't know the history of like their logos and is like, I don't know what.
See, that's the problem is like you guys start getting like, how, no, you took time out to make that statement. You're going to make damn well sure that you're telling like the right story.
Yeah, I'll have to look
right?
in the Fruit of the Loom thing.
And so
Yeah.
it's a governmental operation to say, could we whitewash it and make all of society believe a certain way?
Yeah.
Even though they lived it and they experienced it, can we convince them that they didn't? And yeah, they are. They're capable. And so you're like, oh, what do they gain for? I don't know. What the frack? Like half the stuff they do, what do they gain
Can we
for?
whitewash
These guys
that
are
the
nuts.
Chiefs beat the Niners?
Yeah, I would love
wanna,
that removed
get
from
that
history.
off